welcome back to Algebra 1. So today we're going to be building upon what we've done previously by doing 13.8, reducing a radical by removing factors. So this first part is pretty easy, and it builds, like I said, it builds upon what we did the other day. So if we have 20a squared b, the square root of that all, well, we already know that 20 can be broken down into 4 and 5. Now we want to also divide our factors up, so we have 4a squared times 5b. And from there we can go, well, this is going to be 4a squared, the square root of it, times the square root of 5b. And we already know that 4a squared can be reduced down to 2a, and that 5b can't be. So that's going to be our first part. So for 13.8, that's all you're doing is you're just reducing these down, but then bearing in mind your factors that are attached to it as well. 13.9 is slightly different, but it's also, it's also something that it builds upon, so you should be able to understand it quite easily. So if we have the fourth root of 3, the square root of 2, and the fourth root, or the third root of 4. Well, we want to reduce these down so that they have the same, we want to bring them all down to the same order. So we want them all to have the same numbers at the beginning here. So the first thing we want to do is we want to take them and flip them so that there's fractional, because fractions we know how to deal with. And from there we can go, okay, well, what number do all these fractional parts share? 4, 2, and 3. Well, they all can go into 12. So that leaves us with 3 over 12, 2 and 6 over 12, 4 and 6 over 12, 4 and 4 over 4 and 4 over 12. And then we can put them back in their orders, and then we want to actually cube them and all of that. So then we're left with 27, 64, and 256. So to express a given radical with fractional exponents having a common denominator, raise each number to the power indicated by the numerator of its fractional exponent and indicate the root expressed by the common denominator. So you're basically going to raise them to their fractional power, figure out what number those fractions share, and bring the denominators to the same number, and then bring them back into their radical form. So pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So let's go ahead and do some problems together. So for 13.8, let's do question 9. So you have 1/2 times the square root of 4b squared c. So first we want to separate our factors out. So then we have 1/2 times 4b squared times c. So we want to actually emphasize the fact that we're multiplying this by c. And then we're going to have 1/2 times 4b squared times the square root of c, which we already know that 4b squared can be reduced down. So then we have 1/2 times 2b times the square root of c. Well, when we multiply 2 and 1/2 together, they're basically going to cancel each other out, because we're going to end up with 2 over 2, which is equal to 1. So we just end up with b times the square root of c. Okay? Now for 13.9, let's go over question 6 real quick. So if we have 10 to the power, we have the 10th root of 13, we have the square root of 5, and then we have the 5th root of 4. So let's raise them all to their fractional powers. And then from there, we're able to tell that 10, 2, and 5 all share 10 together. So 13 to the power of 1/10, we don't have to change at all. It's going to stay as 10 and 13. 5 is going to become 5 to the power of 5 over 10, and 4 is going to become 4 to the power of 2 over 10. And then we change those back into their forms. And then we square root and fifth root it, and it becomes 10 to the power. It becomes the 10th root of 3,125, the 10th root of 16, and then again, the 10th root of 13. And there's your answers. So like I said, this all builds upon what we've done the past couple of days. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So for 13.8, for classwork, you have 1 through 9. And for homework, you're going to have 2 through 10. For 13.9, you have 1 through 17. And for homework, 2 through 18. And that's all you have for today. So, see you guys next lesson.